How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. It is Tuesday here on the show. As a result, we've got a lot to talk about, including Smackdown tonight. We got a lineup for the show and some segments. Last night, of course, was Raw, the day after the Fastlane show. Fastlane Fallout. We have some matches that appear to be set up for WrestleMania, including Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre. I don't know what this situation is with Dean Ambrose, but sure looked like they wrote him off the show last night, but he's still got a rest of the month left on his deal, so we'll see what happens. Maybe he will re-sign and make a surprise appearance at WrestleMania after apparently being absolutely destroyed by Drew McIntyre here. There's a lot of different ways they can go, depending on whether he re-signs or not. So, Raw and SmackDown, we could talk about the matches they made last night. Triple H versus Batista. What did you think about that? The Ronda Rousey segment? What are your thoughts on Ronda Rousey? If you want to talk about the New Japan Cup, you are welcome to do that as well. I am behind on the New Japan Cup, but I've seen some of the top matches for that show. So if you want to talk about, for example, the Ibushi Naito match, which has got a lot of talk of late because of how crazy it was. Although, in my opinion, not nearly as crazy as the last match I saw those two guys have. We got Brock Lesnar appearing on Raw next week. Conor McGregor. We've got to talk about Conor. He's been arrested in Miami, Florida, for, of all things, on the grand list of problems that Conor McGregor has, he smashed a fan's phone and was charged with 2 felonies. We could talk about that. Also, new signees to WWE, Stokely Hathaway, Robbie E., and Cal Bloom all joined the WWE Performance Center, and a bunch of other news as well. People already calling like crazy. I can only imagine what's on everyone's mind. If you want to call us here today, phone number 844-411-5411. That is toll-free, 844-411-5411. Text messages, 425-780-7566. Back in just a moment, Wrestling Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. I am fascinated by how many people are calling here today, so I got to know what's going on. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Mike. It's Edward from California. Before I ask my question, Brian, a buddy of mine and me wanted you to know that in honor of you, we decided to rename WWE Fastlane as WWE Sunday Night Heat.
Thank you.
And my question is, obviously you spent a lot of time, for lack of a better word, critiquing Baron Corbin. And I'm not here to defend him because, you know, you're right, and B, it's hilarious. But in your opinion, do you think he's salvageable as a wrestler and talent, or do you think he's too far gone? And how do you think he could improve?
How do I think he could improve? Well, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. Listen, Corbin was fine at the pay-per-view. He was fine. And I think Dave said it was the best he ever saw of Baron Corbin. And whenever you say something like that, my first thought is, what? But then you think about it, it's like, well, what was the best I've ever seen of Baron Corbin? May as well have been. I don't know what you do with Corbin. Like, he has such go-away heat, and I don't know if he's ever going to improve to the point where, like, he's really, really good. I mean, I just don't get it. It's like, they create this very... I'm sure he's a friendly guy. I'm sure he's a nice fella, okay? But they create this character for him that designed... I mean, I don't even know if they designed it this way, but this is the way it's turned out. Like, I don't want to see him on my television. Like, I want to turn the show off. And then he gets in the ring, and the first thing he does is put on a long chin lock. It's like, I have... My life is too short to have to spend all of this time watching WWE main roster programming, and this geek is out there putting guys in a headlock for 10 minutes and laying on the mat. I just can't take it. So I don't know if he's salvageable or not. I don't have a good answer for you.
Well, can I opine on this momentarily? The funny thing about Baron, like you just mentioned, I don't want to see him on TV. He's got go-away heat with me. So they go, when he goes out there on TV, and tell you that he's got go-away heat and that people have turned the channel in massive amounts and that this guy is terrible for our business. That's the angle that he's working. Oh, yes, and he dresses fully clothed. He is a great athlete, obviously. He probably is a great guy. why not put him in a tag team? Why not put him as part of a unit and create a unit where you can have his strengths to be the heavy, to be the guy, the big bully guy with a smart mouth who's quick, utilize his best features and have him do that. That's how you salvage him. But if you're going to have him out there, front and center and be in your key angles and be one of your top 8 people that you weave in and out of storylines, then no, it's probably not going to work. Other people need to be there at this point. So why they just don't go in that direction,
it would be
I don't know.
much easier if he was not a main eventer. I mean, dude, the third hour of Raw has been dying for forever now. And so, like, in the middle of the show, you're going to tell me that the end of 3 hours, Baron Corbin's going to main event against Roman Reigns? I mean, I was just like, okay, at least it's Roman Reigns. Like, people will probably stick around for Roman. But my God, that's what you're promoting as a main event for the end of this show? Like, stick around, everybody. Baron Corbin is going to put Roman Reigns in a chin lock for 10 minutes at the end of the show. Which, by the way, they didn't even deliver on. We were talking about that yesterday. Just blatant false advertising, but whatever. Hey, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's up? Every line is lit up.
Hey, this is Eric from New Jersey. I just have 2 quick things. I think the reason you loved Batista's segment so much last night is because
he's awesome?
It kind of reminded me of Sid Vicious. Like, it was kind of just like a weird, unhinged, screamy guy, like, yelling, like, sort of random things and spitting every time he talked.
Yeah, he's passionate.
Sort of reminded me of Sid.
He was passionate. Yeah. Like, he had a point to what he was saying. He had something that he wanted, and he was very passionate about it. And the byplay between Triple H was great. And I loved that segment. I think Batista's he's so awesome. And Triple H was great being Triple H. And it was the best thing on the show by a country mile.
Easily.
So, and the other thing is, I was wondering, I'm going to Mania this year, and I'm sort of looking at the card, and I'm wondering what you think, what championships are going to be left out of the main card, because I'm looking at the card right now, and it sort of looks like it was last year, where it's going to be 3 pre-show matches, and I think like 11 at this point, main card matches.
So you're asking which ones will be on the pre-show?
Or like not at all on the show, because I assume the 3 pre-show matches are going to be the Cruiserweight and the 2 Battle Royals. But I don't know if like the United States Championship or like which tag title is getting on, or even like the Intercontinental Championship, or even Asuka on it. Like who are those titles of those?
Okay, I want to thank you very much for the call. I mean, listen, I would be stunned if every title was not defended at WrestleMania. I suppose it's possible. I guess if they have a champion that's involved in something that's going to be like a multi-person match, it wouldn't be there, but I think every single match is going to be, or every single title is going to be defended on the show. I don't know if they'll do both of the Battle Royals on the pre-show. Maybe they will. I mean, a lot of it depends on if they've got something, in the sense that if they got like a surprise winner of the men's or women's Battle Royal, or if they've got some big angle or something like that, they could move one of those to the main show and put like the Cruiserweight and the Smackdown tag titles. I don't know. I expect that every title will be defended on the show. I could be wrong, but like they do everything they can to get every person on Mania. I don't know why they wouldn't try and get every title at Mania. Look at these phones. What's going on? You're on the air. What's going on today? Hello, my friend. Going once. Going twice.
Gracie, who could beat him?
Oh, there you go. What's going on? I don't even know what he said. Very clever call that will be edited off the show, my friend. Fine work. This person here says, Batista is awesome. My only problem with the storyline is Batista wants to match more than Hunter, even though Triple H never beat Batista. It's backwards. Well, that's why they didn't mention that, in fact, Batista beat Triple H at WrestleMania. You're supposed to forget that. And we got a lot of new fans that don't even remember, because it was a long time ago, everybody. What was that, 2005? When did they do Triple H versus Batista?
Let me see here.
That was like that would have been
when Evolution broke up in 2005, so I guess that would be that.
That'd be 14 years ago.
Man.
There's a lot of fans that have no memory of that match whatsoever.
There's a lot of fans who are just 14 now.
And besides, the whole key isn't so much, as Batista noted on the show last night, I'm going to read his exact line because it was so great. He said, "It's all I've ever wanted. one last match to end my career on my terms, and one last match to end your career on my terms. He's going to end Triple H's career at WrestleMania. It's not just about a win. He wants to end Triple H's career at WrestleMania in his final match. So that's the storyline here. I think it's great. I love it.
WrestleMania 21, and then went ahead and beat him in the rematch at Backlash, too.
Yes, that's right.
Batista's match with Triple H was described by sports journalist Dave Meltzer as the peak of one of WWE's best storylines in years.
It was. That's one of their best storylines in years, that Triple H Batista, the first one.
And you know what they didn't do? Overthink it or add a bunch of BS to it. And you know what they won't do this time? They won't do that either, which is unlike these other matches that they've completely overdone on this show.
Bert says, Bryan, I don't disagree with you a lot. However, I thought Batista looked super nervous last night. Felt like Triple H set him up for a few lines. He completely forgot what to say. I know he isn't the greatest on the mic, but he looked like he was lost out there. That's why he kept screaming the same thing over and over again. Well, he kept screaming the same thing over and over again because he said, give me what I want. And Hunter kept saying, I'm not going to give you what you want. And nobody asked the question, well, what do you want? And so finally he had to spit it out. I don't know who forgot there. It could have been Hunter forgetting his line. I liked it. I thought it felt real. He says, if I was Batista, I'd go back to Vince and ask for another segment to save the storyline. Save the storyline?
Really?
What are you talking about?
Come on now.
Of all the storylines that need to be saved, I'm afraid this is low on the list.
Disagree with that guy.
Bert says, I hope all the phone calls are not about Corbin. Tell me about it. Back in a moment with more Wrestling Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Want to apologize to that caller that I accused of doing a prank call. He didn't say anything for a long time, then he spit something out and hung up. I presumed it must have been a prank call. But what he actually asked very rapidly was, Crone, Gracie, who can beat him? And he hung up. So, the answer to that question...
Yeah?
The answer to that question is I mean, it's the answer to who can beat any Gracie. Somebody with great wrestling, who can stop the takedown, who has great stand-up. And I don't know who that is. I'd have to look through the current UFC roster, but if they go to the ground, like Crone's going to submit almost anybody. He's going to beat almost anybody on the ground. But his stand-up in his UFC debut was not great. It was not terrible, but it wasn't great.
But he got punched in the face and knocked out, though.
The one thing, though, was that he didn't even have to take the dude to the ground. He got to his back standing. So, I think he impressed a lot of people.
Good pedigree there.
He does have a good pedigree.
Not exactly like a high-end Gracie or anything like that. No, this is a I don't want to say a real Gracie, but the tradition's there.
All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on?
Well, this is awkward.
What's happening? What's awkward?
Well, I called to talk about Crone Gracie.
Oh, well, go ahead.
But, how do you think he would do against a guy like Ben Askren or Khabib? I feel like their natural inclination would be to take him down, but Crone's pretty good off his back, so I think that's the only way someone could really beat those kind of guys.
He had a wrestler bias. Ben Askren's really good, and he's really experienced.
So is Khabib.
Well, he is too, but with Askren, man, that was impressive last time. He's always been impressive. So I don't know. I tend to lean towards Askren there.
I mean, listen, I'm the biggest Gracie fan in the world. I love Crone Gracie. But, like, in a fight with Khabib or Ben Askren, I would favor either of them. I'm not saying that he has no chance, but, like, those are two guys that their strengths are his weakness right now. The ability to take him down and hold him down. I mean, he could get a submission on the ground, but, I mean, those guys, Khabib is a monster, and Askren, same deal, so...
There's a reason that's where they're at right now. So it's like, and Crone is, I mean, he's just...
That's the other thing.
How many fights has he had?
That's the other thing. It's they're both of them have significantly more experience than he has. He's had 5 MMA fights, and he's undefeated, but exactly one of them has been in the UFC. The rest have been elsewhere. And he's looked good, but that's a lot of experience to go up against in those two guys.
All right, thanks. Go Bison.
Yep, thanks so much.
Go Bisons?
He threw a Go Biden in there.
Oh, Biden. Oh, well, the people want Joe to run.
All right, my friend, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Bryan, just had a quick comment on the Baron Corbin situation. I know that he's not like the best wrestler in the world, and I'm not saying that, but I don't think that he's really as bad as you make him out to be.
Corbin?
Yes, Corbin. I think that he's actually a solid wrestler. He's just been he's kind of the victim of some really bad booking.
Well, he's absolutely the victim of bad booking. And he's okay. He's not terrible. I think he's all right. But, I mean, he's far from the only guy. I don't know what this is, but, like, there are a couple guys where, for whatever reason, the agents are like, get him on the mat and put him in a hold. Chin lock. Who's the other one? There's another one that just drives me crazy. It's like every time they have a match, it's like chin lock City on the mat. It's not Ambrose, somebody else.
All the chin
it's a heel.
So.
It's another heel that does this, but it's
chin locks squared up so you can see the hard camera. Yeah, I mean, for the
love of God, it was a 6-man main event at Fastlane. 6 dudes, and he's laying on the mat in a chin lock. I was like, come on, tag somebody or something. Just get off my television. That's what I think. All these people that go, Bryan, you're a mark. He's just the best heel. No, he's not. Okay? I don't want to see him. If this wasn't my job, I'd change the channel. That's not being a great heel.
1982 big man WWF wrestling right there.
God.
Chin locks, he's going to be thumping around with Sweet Hansen.
Let's see. I can watch the New Japan Cup, or I can sit around and wait for the Baron Corbin main event. Like, if this wasn't my job, what do you think I'd do?
You know, CMLL...
I'd watch the New Japan Cup.
Yeah, CMLL is there's for free on YouTube. Like, there's options out there. There's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, this person brings up Kevin Owens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Kevin Owens used to do a lot of chin locks. He doesn't anymore. I mean, it was, yeah. There's a way to get heat with a chin lock, okay? In the 80s. But, like, it ain't like that anymore. Like, some of the stuff that even I loved, some of that stuff from the 80s, it just is not going to work in 2019.
Well, yeah, it can work, but it's time and place.
No,
when
laying on the mat in a chin lock is not going to work in 2019. No. There's too much stuff on television. There are too many other options for professional wrestling.
No, if
it's
one
not
guy
like you're
is
tuning in at 6:05.
Like that, you can do that.
No, I'm telling you, Mike, it's not going to work.
Everybody is doing it, and that's the problem. It's not just the Baron Corbin thing. This is everybody,
dude. If you're watching TBS at 6:05 on a Saturday night, and you came home from the beach because you absolutely love professional wrestling, you're going to watch that damn show. And if a heel puts on a chin lock, you're going to be infuriated, okay? But you're not going to stop watching the show, all right? In 2019, when everyone has their phones and their devices, and there's 600 channels, and if you're a wrestling fan, there's 8 million streaming services, nobody's going to sit there and watch a dude lay in a chin lock in 2019. It's not happening. It's just not. The world has changed.
If you weren't watching New Japan, what would you be watching then?
What are you talking about if I'm not watching New Japan?
Well, WWE, you're not watching that, obviously, but there is no New Japan Cup on. What does Bryan Alvarez watch?
Dude, there's 1,000 things. I could go on the network and watch old TBS shows.
But what are you going to watch?
That's probably what I do, is go watch some old NWA.
Okay.
I need to watch that Roman Reigns bio, too. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's up?
This is William from Tracy, California.
Yes, William.
I was calling regarding Kurt Angle's farewell match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle brought up John Cena as a potential opponent in a backstage interview last night, and Cena just recently posted a picture of Angle in a Instagram post, and I was just wondering, do you think it's going to be Cena and Angle at WrestleMania?
It should.
Well, yeah, I want to thank you very much for the call. I mean, it could be, listen, Kurt Angle and John Cena, that was John Cena's first match on the main roster. It would be a great story to have that be the final match of Kurt Angle's active career. I also think it should be Samoa Joe. I think that would be a great match. I think, obviously, if you're a longtime wrestling fan, you remember that program. I think that they would have a lot of fun. I would be fine with that one. A lot of different options. Somebody suggested Chad Gable. I don't think it's going to be Chad Gable.
Ooh.
But that would be... That'd be a hell of a match.
Yeah, really. Give me that on WrestleMania weekend. Give me that like access or something where it's like you do it. It's like for no official reasons except for just to make people happy. I would love to see it like pop up somewhere like that. Although it's not going to happen. But I guess the one thing you can do with Joe is you get that moment. I know people will hate this, but it is part of the show where Joe basically chokes out Kurt Angle, the people boo, Joe leaves, and then it gives Kurt Angle the chance to do that slow stand up and that walk back and that look around and everything, and I'm sure then something on Raw the next night to lead him out the door. But yeah, I mean, you could do that. I just think the John Cena story, it gives them both something to do that doesn't affect anything else, and it's just a happy story.
Jinder Mahal, this person says, is the other guy that does all, you're absolutely right. Like, a guy that has no
a trend with
hope,
a lot of these guys?
And they throw him in there and they have him do chin locks. This person here goes, I was at Raw last night. When I saw the main event was Baron Corbin, and it was starting 30 minutes before the end of the show, I almost left. Apparently he didn't leave. To his delight, I'm sure, because the main event was much better because it did not involve young Baron Corbin. Well, actually, I don't think he even is that young. Jinder is Captain Chinlock, this person says. Yes, you're right, everybody. It's Jinder Mahal. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And then this one here. I need to take a deep breath. All right. This person says, does anyone even channel surf anymore in 2019? Yes. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people channel surf. This is like the people that go, nobody actually watches television. Everybody has a streaming service. Incorrect. Or the people that say nobody actually watches Raw live. Everybody watches. Incorrect. I realize that you and your friends have a way of life. But let me tell you about the way of life of the world. Millions and millions and millions of people channel surf. Let's look at the Raw numbers. We don't get the quarter hours, but we get the hours. You know why the hours go up and down?
Why's that?
Because people channel surf. They watch the show, something they don't like comes on, they watch something else. You think they actually turn the television completely off for 10 minutes and then turn it back on and see what's on Raw? No, they watch something on another channel. There's channel surfing going on every single moment of every day by millions of people on television. The world has not changed as fast as some people think it has.
Plus, there's the new channel.
It is
surfing.
changing.
There's a new channel surfing, too, where people just look at their phones.
Yeah, but no.
They may change the channel, like, to one channel up, and then they'll, like, get distracted by their phone or one of the other million devices they have around them, and it happens that way, too.
If people zoned out of Raw to their phones, the number would not go up or down.
No, I'm saying you can move the channel, but then you get distracted by one of the other millions of distractions that we have today that you didn't really necessarily have back in the day.
Elias, another chinlock aficionado, this person says. All right, back in a moment, Observer Live. All right, back here in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Let's take this call, then I got a bunch of text messages. You're on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, this is Mark in Dallas.
What's up?
I was just wanting to discuss something. I'm noticing a trend here. First, it happened with Big Cass, and now it looks like it's happening with Baron Corbin. They are both, they're both passable wrestlers in the WWE, at least. And I'm just seeing a trend here where they go out there, they act like a bad guy, they get people to boo them, because that's their job, is to get people to not like them. And then you come on the show talking, oh, Baron Corbin sucks, nobody likes him. I mean, you're falling right into what they want you to.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is this a real call, or are you just messing with me here?
I mean, that's how it works. That's how heels work. That's how they've always worked.
Dude, you know how many heels are on the WWE roster that are doing a great job that I don't say that about? Baron Corbin goes out there, and he bores me half to death. I don't want to see him on my television. So, no, he's not doing his job right.
That's what he's supposed to do.
No, his job is not to make me not want to see him on television. That's not his job. That's him doing his job poorly. You want me to go through the Raw roster and tell you some great heels that they've got on the Raw roster?
What about Drew McIntyre, boss?
Dude, Drew McIntyre's awesome. And guess what he is? He's a heel. I love watching Drew McIntyre. I'm overjoyed that the WrestleMania match is Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. He's a great heel. And he goes out there and he does his job, and he does a great job at it. He doesn't bore me half to death. He goes out there, he plays a despicable person. He does a great job doing it. He beats up the bad guys. You want to see him get his. It's great.
What about Joe the Samoan?
Joe is awesome. He's also a heel. Joe's my favorite heel in the entire company. He's got the best promos. He never bores me for 1 second. Everything he does is great. He's an awesome heel. That's what a heel is.
And I agree with both of those.
Okay, well, that's it.
They are awesome heels for their brand.
Exactly. And Baron Corbin is a guy that for whatever reason, the dialogue that they give him doesn't help, and the fact that they make him lay on the mat in chin locks in main event matches doesn't help. I watch him.
Caller,
and I'm like,
let me ask you a question. Are they utilizing Baron Corbin to the best of their abilities, do you believe, for his talent set?
No, I don't, because he's a great talker, and this is the main point. Ever since Kurt Angle was stepped down from GM, he's been basically made to look like WWE's stooge, and he goes out there and wrestles in a waistcoat.
Yes.
And it's practically, that's been his career ever since he lost Money in the Bank. But the main point that I'm getting at is that whether it's intended or not, because we all know how WWE works or doesn't work, depending on how you look at it. The point still stands is that whenever he shows up on TV, everybody rolls their eyes. They don't want to see him. And whatever they're doing to make him, act like a heel, he go out there, he's cowardly, he talks down to people. It is working.
Okay, hold on, buddy. I want to thank you very much for the call. Listen in, okay? I'm trying to think of a good example here. I got a great example. Remember when Fat Oily Guy? Remember that guy?
Yes.
Who was that?
Krista Joseph?
That's right, Krista Joseph, okay?
DX.
All right, so Krista Joseph was a guy who was a writer, and they came up with this idea where he'd come out mostly nude, and he was fat. Don't yell at me about fat shaming. That was his gimmick. He was a fat, oily guy. He put oil all over his body, and he came out here, and the whole point was just to be a disgusting human being on television.
The party boy gimmick from Jackass.
Okay, so let's just say, caller, that we're in the middle of... Let's go back to this Fastlane card here. I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible so everybody can understand, okay? Let's go back to Fastlane 2019. Let me get my lineup here. Because you know what? There were a lot of great matches here on this show, all right? So, let's say that we're watching Fastlane, and we're in the middle of the Revival versus Aleister Black and Ricochet and Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, okay? So they're in the middle of this match, and the match went 10 minutes and 50 seconds. But let's imagine that 5 minutes in, all of a sudden, Fat Oily Guy's music hit, and Fat Oily Guy ran down to the ring, and he jumped into the ring, he started dancing, and fats all over and oil, and he attacks Ricochet, and they call for the bell. It's disqualification. You know what happened? Everybody would boo like crazy. So Fat Oily Guy goes to the back. Fans are furious, okay? So then, Samoa Joe, Andrade, R-Truth, and Rey Mysterio having their match. Also, by the way, went 10 minutes, 50 seconds. 5 minutes in, down the aisle, comes Fat Oily Guy. He gets his ass in the ring, his fat ass, because that's his gimmick, Fat Oily Guy. He gets in there, and he hits Rey Mysterio, and they call for the bell. Match is over. The fans they're throwing stuff at the ring. They're furious. Some of them are walking out. Fat Oily Guy walks to the back. So then, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Mustafa Ali. Actually, I'll take that back. It's Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens, but Vince McMahon said it's going to be a three-way. We're going to find out who that third guy is right now. Fat Oily Guy's music hits. Fat Oily Guy comes out. It's a three-way. Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Fat Oily Guy. And he ruins the match. It sucks. The match goes 2 minutes. Kevin Owens slips on some oil. Daniel Bryan pins him. Everybody's outraged. They're walking out of the show. Okay, are you going to call this damn show the next day and go, Bryan, you are such a mark. This Fat Oily Guy's doing his job. His job is to be hated. And you hate him. Therefore, he's the best heel in this company. Are you going to call and tell me that? Or are you going to see it for what it was, in the wrong kind of heat? That's what we got with Baron Corbin. It's the wrong kind of heat. I don't want to see the guy. I'm sick of him. I wish he would just go away for a while. Then he can start over again in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. Do you understand that there is a good heat and a bad heat? Drew McIntyre, great heel. Samoa Joe, great heel. Andrade, great heel. Kevin Owens, when he was a heel, he was a great heel. Bobby Lashley, great heel. I could go up and down this damn roster of great heels. There's such thing as a great heel and a heel I don't want to see anymore. That's Baron Corbin. Don't tell me he's the best heel on the roster, because then I think you don't know what you're talking about. And then I can't figure out why you're calling the show. How can you not understand and call the show and say something like that? I'm not doing my job. That's what's happening here. I'm not doing my job. If I got people trying to convince me that Baron Corbin is the best heel on this roster. Come on now.
I think with more explanations like that, we're going to be able to get them in and really educate them to where they need to be.
This person is convinced that guy was a troll. Oh. He even said his name was Mark, this person said.
Oh.
No, that's not correct. I'm not even mad at that caller. Listen, if that caller enjoys Baron Corbin and he actually thinks that Baron Corbin is the best heel in the company, then that's okay. The caller is allowed to have that opinion, okay? But don't try to convince me that I don't understand wrestling because I don't want to see Baron Corbin on my screen.
Well, I don't
try to
think
explain to me that he's a great heel.
I don't think he was trying to defend his man Baron, and I think he was open to your ideas, Brian. I don't think he was.
That's why I left him on the line. I didn't belittle him. I let him say his piece. Let's go to the phones. Shut up, Mike. You're on the air. What's going on?
Well, hey, it's Ian from San Antonio.
Yes,
Mike, first of all, I just want to say I'm about almost an hour through your appearance on the 605, and really cool hearing how you came up. Really nice to hear you on the show. And,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I don't know what the deal is with this whole, Raw last night I was watching, and it's funny because, and not the predictable is necessarily a bad thing. I love the whole thing with Triple H and Batista. I was over at a friend of mine's house. I used to date her a long time ago. But she had, whenever I was with her, she used to watch wrestling because I did. And they were doing the whole promo and stuff. And as soon as Triple H said, there's no whatever, it's like even a person who doesn't even watch anymore and hasn't watched in 5 years knows where it's because she's like, and, he starts saying there's going to be no disqualification. She's like, he's going to say no holds barred, right? And it just, comes right out of nowhere. But, predictable isn't always a bad thing. I thought that was the best part of the show last night. I thought it was better than Ronda, even though I liked her too. But, that was my favorite part of the show. Good stuff.
Yes, it was a very good show last night. I shouldn't say it was a very good show, but it was a very good angle last night.
Ronda was a good part of that show.
I liked the Ronda thing. It wasn't that bad.
Corny. It's just
listen,
corny.
They're not here.
Why am I supposed to love Paul Heyman for this just because Paul Heyman is writing it? It's like you took
I
a
don't love
story
Paul Heyman for this.
That didn't need a right turn into a wall. Then you're giving us a right turn into a wall with a whole bunch of verbiage that doesn't need to be said.
Do you think that it was Paul Heyman's idea to write a bunch of storylines about this? Or do you think it was Vince's idea and he enlisted Heyman to write these stories?
I would think it would be the latter,
yes. Now, granted,
with her verbiage on and flow on top of it, because, she's out there desecrating your... What a stupid ass.
I thought it was a pretty good promo. I did not like when she talked about how it was all a charade. I mean, they're trying so hard not to say fake, but to try to make you understand that that's what the storyline is. And Michael Cole screaming that Ronda had gone rogue. I mean, this is also go away heat. Okay, I mean, come on, just let her beat people up, dude. Is it that hard? The thing is, I don't know.
Look, for at least how people try to justify things, there's going to be a lot of people who ultimately, as the years go by, black Ronda completely out of their minds in this and just completely put her to the side and just only remember this as a Becky Lynch story.
This person here says, Ronda watches too much anime. That's where her weird phrases come from. Well, dude, they're coming from somewhere.
She sounds like, I mean, forget about the anime. Is it the anime because of the words she's speaking, or is it because it's dubbed over and it doesn't match up? Because Ronda's kind of got that thing where there's words coming out of her mouth, but it's like she overdubs herself with how she delivers them. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's how she talks. It's bizarre.
That's her real life. That's how her and her husband speak to each other.
This person here says, want to get your thoughts on the show length of WrestleMania and the number of matches. Based on listening to you, Dave, and Filthy review the shows, watching Fastlane and past WrestleMania history, I have tallied up 22 or more potential matches and segments for the show. Well, there will not be 22. So I'm looking at everything you got right here, and yeah, I mean, you know what? When I look at this guy's list, maybe we're not going to have all of the championships defended on the show, because there's a lot of match. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title matches that so far we have no idea who would be in them. And also a men's and women's Royal Rumble. That's 7 matches alone right there. And we've also got all of the matches announced.
Royal Rumble.
We got, yeah, they always do that. They have a Battle Royal.
The Andre. Yeah. Well.
We've got Ronda, Charlotte, Becky confirmed. Seth Brock confirmed. Bryan Kofi confirmed. Well, not confirmed, but that's probably going to be. Triple H, Batista, Roman, Drew. Cruiserweight title, they've confirmed that. And then the U.S. title match. Orton, Styles, Miz, Shane, Andrade, Ray, Kurt Angle retirement match, and then all those title matches. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to have 18 matches, but I suppose we could have 14 and 4 on the pre-show. I mean, I don't think that's impossible.
Oh my God.
I don't think it's impossible, dude. Hey, I want to apologize to all the callers. We're totally out of time today. I had somebody waiting on the line, but I don't know what happened. Everyone just went crazy calling here today. Plus, I got like 200 texts I haven't even gotten over here. Person says, I'm sick and tired of hearing about Conor McGregor and his criminalities. You brought him up. I didn't even talk about him here today. But yes, he, got arrested for breaking a fan's phone. Can you imagine? When I saw he was arrested for 2 felonies, I thought, oh, dear God. Then it was he broke a phone. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, I'm Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Correction of the day. This person says, last night you mentioned to Dave they advertised a Strowman toy with a car. It's not new. Toy's at least a year old. My son got it last year for his birthday. So I guess they shot an angle so they could unload them. Guess that's what happened there.
Hey, why not?
Person says, Baron Corbin has RICM heat. Ryan in Cumberland, Maryland.
Yes.
Ryan's
got his own acronym, though, so...
It's similar but different. I can hang up on Ryan.
Yeah, well, still, though, they're being put out there with the help of facilitation by people like you and Vince. You and Vince.
What about me and Vince? What do I have to do with this?
You pick up the call.
Yeah, I pick up the call because they're unscreened open lines. I don't even know who's on the line. I just know it's Ryan because he always calls first on Sunday. It's the only reason I know it's him. And sometimes I'm shocked because I pick up the phone on Sunday and the first caller isn't him. And I'm like, what a swerve. It's somebody else.
It's Paul. Yeah. Paul Barbersville.
This person says, I officially gave up on WWE after Fastlane and Balor losing last night. Then I find out the fans that were there didn't get the Roman Reigns match they were promised, and Becky is no longer limping at house shows. This is madness. Dude, I'm fine with her no longer limping. She's been limping forever. Filthy Tom, when he broke his hand, I think his hand healed faster than her non-broken leg. I mean, maybe she has, like, no ligaments left or something like that.
You got to understand something, O'Brien. You know how the wrestling rules work. You saw Bob Orton and Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah, they were heels. She's the top babyface.
They don't know what they are.
Oh, my God. On that note, we're out of time, everybody. I hit my wall dead on right there. But we'll be back tomorrow with more. And tonight, because you know what I'm going to do right now? Watch Retro Nitro. That's right.
Great.
Yeah. We'll talk to you again next time, hopefully. Wrestling Observer Live.